all are welcome to sing with us. Da, 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 da.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Welcome to Washington Hebrew. I know in some of our services we take the opportunity to invite newcomers to share if this is your first time. But first, you should know that we have some newcomers on the Bima. So I'm kind of stalling for Rabbi Shankman if you haven't noticed. So
sorry.
I am Cantor Bortnick, and of course I'm not new to Washington Hebrew, and this is Rabbi Shankman, who is also not new to Washington Hebrew, and I'm going to turn it over to her now.
But this is really, really confusing because we're both named Susan.
That's right.
So interchangeable along with Suzanne. So, just to make it up.
For variety.
Sorry, we were just making sure everybody had exactly what they need as we get started with our service. And if you do need anything, just let us know. We'll be happy to help. It is wonderful to be here with all of you. Again, Rabbi Shankman, Cantor Bortnick, Suzanne Hamstra, and Cantor Suzanne Hamstra. And we have as well, Matvey Sigalov. I'm sorry. No, we don't.
No, we don't.
I should just leave and come back in, and then we'll be good.
So you do every Friday?
Cantor Bortnick knows this entire day has gone this way. It is not Friday the 13th, but something's going on in the world. So
You just really need Shabbat.
we have Daniel Brown and Joey Antico. Very familiar to all of us who are regulars at Shabbat services. We're so happy that they're with us this evening. And I'm going to also, I'm thrilled to introduce our guests who are here with us this evening, Melvin Miles and Rabbi Micah Lapidus. So the single greatest power of music is the power to unite. Music brought Rabbi Micah Lapidus and Baptist gospel singer Melvin Miles together. Using their music, they hope to return the favor and bring people together, which clearly has happened this evening. Lapidus and Miles.
I was after that earlier.
Okay, but you didn't point it out to me. So again, going with the theme of the day.
Everything else is fine.
Lapidus and Miles share a city. They share a commitment to their respective faith traditions. They share many of the same values, and they are of a similar age. But even with all these things in common, it took music to bring them together. As they share their story and music with us tonight, their hope is to inspire us. They want us to feel like we are listening to music that is honest, direct, thoughtful, and uplifting. We will be reminded of our humanity, our hopes, our dreams, our triumphs, our tragedies. Our community will be strengthened through the gifts they will share with us this evening. I'm thrilled to have them with us. Rabbi Lapidus and I have spent lots of time together. We served on the board of the CCAR, the Central Conference of American Rabbis, together, the Reform Rabbis professional organization, and we sit on a committee, a small committee together, and spend lots of time on Zoom. It is even more wonderful to be here together. In addition, We are of a unique club of rabbis who are married to rabbis, and that's also a wonderful thing to have in common, and now to have Melvin here as well and begin this friendship. This is what we do when we come together, and we hope you'll do this evening, not just be connected with the people who are next to you and who you know, but also with someone you don't already know, and that you'll expand your circle of connection and friendship. So we want to give you a chance to do that before we really get started into our service. And we want to give you a chance to talk to somebody perhaps you don't already know, someone you're not related to. So some of you might actually need to get up for this for a moment. It has been unseasonably warm. If this I'm told this might change over the course of the weekend. But if it were normal, or I guess normal depends on where you're from, if it were cold weather, a normal February as it often is, this is the question you're going to ask of someone seated next to you. You're going to introduce yourself, say hello, where you're from, and what would you do? What is your favorite cold weather activity? If it does turn cold over the weekend, it is not because I asked this question. I just want you to know that. I have no control over the weather. But what is your favorite cold weather activity? Go.
That's a good one.
Right. I can't tell.
That was my fault. I didn't either, clearly. Well, why not start the last two names with the same letter?
It's not really pointed at us, but I feel like we can't hear them. We can't hear you. We can't hear them. Specifically the guitar. It's not going to help with that monitor anyway. It's not pointed at us.
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbat Shalom.
I'm Micah,
I'm Melvin.
and we're very, very happy to be here. I think maybe we'll just keep doing that same song for the next hour and see if we can get everyone singing and participating. Or maybe we'll do some others as well. We're so happy to be at Washington Hebrew, to be next to my colleague and friend, Rabbi Sue Shankman, and to have made new friends, Cantor Bortnick, Cantor Hamstra, and Daniel and Joey. I'm going to call you by your actual name. We had a lot of J names for you earlier today, but Joey is a good one. And just love hearing the sound of voices in a congregation of people sharing. You all have a lot of cold weather activities that you like to do. You wouldn't be able to do any of them in Atlanta, so it's good that you live here. And there are many things that we want to say. We're not going to say hardly any of them, but I have one very special friend here in addition to the people that I've mentioned, and that is my friend Faye, who is here, moved here a couple years ago from Lafayette, Louisiana, where she was the temple president and the Temple Shalom. And I pretty much, welled up with tears when I saw her because it was almost 20 years ago, and to have had those formative experiences at that congregation with you and with your family really means a lot to me to see you. And I just hope that we can evoke the power of relationships and the meaning of connection for all of us. So that wasn't meant to be an exercise in personal privilege, but to remind us that we're blessed in this life to have people that we care about, people who enrich our lives in ways that we cannot distinguish who we are from what those relationships mean to us. And we don't always have the opportunity to say it, to see those people, to celebrate those relationships. And so when we have an opportunity, we do well to do so. And that's really the spirit of Hine Matov, which is the song that we're going to sing. Melvin and I wrote this song specifically thinking about way to kind of break the ice and try to activate people when we create music together, because we want the music to be as interactive as possible, with the caveat that you have never heard any of these songs before. So, this one in particular is a call and response, and of course the words Hine Matov are familiar to many who go to Shabbat on a regular basis over the years. Hine Matov, how good it is to be together. And this version is really just Melvin will sing a verse, and then we'll sing it back. We'll do the first verse a couple times, and hopefully you'll catch on. If you do not like to sing or don't feel like singing, don't worry. We will not shine a spotlight on you, but everyone is welcome to. Melvin told me that I can sing, and if he thinks that I can sing, you can sing as well.
Page 10.
How good, how good, how good, how good it is to be together. How good, how good, how good, how sweet and good it is to be together. Come on and try with us. How good, how good, how good, how good it is to be together. Sounds great. How good, how good, how good, how sweet and good it is to be together. It's a simple thing for sure, a thing so good and pure, to be together. It's a simple thing for sure, a thing so good and pure, to be together.
And we continue our service as we turn to page 17 and join together in Romemu, the bottom paragraph of Hebrew. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu behar kodsho. Romemu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu behar kodsho.
Shabbat Shalom again. It's so nice to be warming up our spirits, and what a blessing to have a congregation with two cantors who sing so beautifully and lead us in song. We're about to sing the Chadodi, which is a prayer that may be familiar to many of us. It's a long prayer, 9 verses. Customarily, we recite 5 of those verses, but it's ample time to learn the refrain because it keeps on coming back. This setting of the Chadodi is one that I'd say I wrote, but I feel more that I stumbled upon it. I don't know if anybody here, I know some here have been to the city in Israel, the city of Tzfat, which is in northern Israel on top of a mountain, the birthplace of Jewish mysticism, where the words of the Chadodi were written thousands of years ago. I have the privilege of leading an 8th grade Israel trip on an annual basis through the school that I work at, the Davis Academy. And as I was telling the story to Cole Renard, the amazing choir earlier, I brought my guitar with me as we were wandering that day so I wouldn't spend all my money on Judaica as we were wandering through the alleyways. And the melody of this song came to me really whole cloth, if that's the expression, all at once, and it hasn't changed since that moment. And it was made even more special by the fact that it was Erev Shavuot. It was the day leading up to the beautiful Jewish festival of Shavuot, the giving of the Torah. So it felt like a real gift to have received this melody, and we're very happy to have a chance to share it with you, and we hope that you feel that sense of connection.
And as we get to the final verse, verse 9, we will rise and turn towards the door as we welcome Shabbat into our midst. And once we finish with that verse, we'll turn back toward the fun. Lecha dodi likrat kala, b'nei We remain standing as we turn to page 28 for our call to worship, the Baruch Hu.
Take a look around the congregation. Look at the people next to you, the people behind you, the people across the chapel from you. We are individuals. If you look at each person here, even those who are related, we are all unique in our own way, each one a blessing, each one created B'Tselem Elohim in the image of God. Even though we look different, there's a oneness that we feel and we find in congregation, in community. There's a oneness we hear as well. If you listen to the ways our voices blended together so beautifully, the uniqueness of each voice coming together to create a better, a more perfect whole. And so we reflect on the meaning of that, on how our voices sound when we raise them together. They are stronger together. They harmonize together. They add and enhance the beauty of this world. And as we turn to the words of Shema, our prayer of oneness, our prayer that reminds us that God is one, we reflect on the oneness, the unity that we find in community, and a unity that reflects the oneness of God. And Shema is found on page 34 and 35.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. You shall love these words, oh, these sweet, precious words, set them on your heart. Set these words, oh, these sweet, sacred words, set them on your heart. You shall love. You shall love. You shall love your God.
The song that we're about to sing is called Praying with Our Feet. And some people, when they hear the name of the song, they get a little confused. Other people instantly get it. They say, oh, that must be a song inspired by Rabbi Abraham Joshua Heschel, who marched with Martin Luther King. And then someone comes up to me and says, well, you know, Rabbi Heschel didn't say he was praying with his feet. He said he felt like his legs were praying. And I said, yes, try to write a song called Praying with Your Legs. But I wanted to speak briefly about this song because this is a song that brought me and Melvin together. Melvin sings at historic Ebenezer Baptist Church, and I'm the composer in residence at the Temple, all in Atlanta. It's a love fest. We invite you all to come and join us sometime. And I heard Melvin sing this song, and I said, excuse me, who are you? And he said, I'm Melvin. And I said, well, in addition to that being my grandfather's name, who instilled in me and our entire family a love of music, I said, I want to sing like you, and short of being able to do that, I want to sing with you. And somehow fate conspired, as you heard in Rabbi Shankman's introduction, to bring us together and to allow us to do that. And I think the song is self-explanatory. It's a reminder that the fight for justice, the march towards freedom, the joining together arm in arm to create a better world is something that is ongoing, and rather than being overwhelmed by that task, we should embrace it and recognize that it is our honor and our privilege and our sacred responsibility to do that work. And the good news is that this song was written in a way that it could be sung by choirs who were willing to put in the time and the energy in order to learn that. And your choir, Colrina, has done that, and it's such an honor for us to be able to sing with them, and we hope that by the end you'll be catching on as well. And it's a reminder also that Micha Mocha, the words that come at the end of the song and upon which this prayer is inspired, Jews and the Jewish community, we've been marching towards a better world for a long time. So we know how to do that. And it's incumbent upon us to show others the way in case we see them marching and we don't, and we have something to say about how we could march in a more sacred, in a more loving, in a more embracing, and in a more mindful, in a more ultimately successful way. And we should bring our children with us.
Step by step, mile by mile, we're not there yet. It's gonna take a while. Block by block, street by street, the path of justice is not complete. Hill by hill, through the veil, though the shadows fall, light will prevail. Through pain and tears, through rain and snow, to the mountaintop we go. We'll be praying with our feet, praying with our feet. We'll be praying with our feet. We'll be praying with our feet, praying with our feet. We'll be praying with our feet. Hand in hand, arm in arm. When we march together, we march strong. Bridge by bridge and town by town, like a rolling train that won't slow down. We'll be praying with our feet, praying with our feet. We'll be praying with our feet. We'll be praying with our feet till the work's complete. We'll be praying with our feet. Together we can, together we will. Just keep the faith. We're gonna get there still. Together we can, together we must march again with hope, faith, and trust. Michamoka Baelim, Adonai, Michamoka Nedabakores. Lord, I tell you, Lord, oh, Sefele, Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae, Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae, Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae, Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae. Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae. Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae. Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae. Adonai, in Lokleo Lambae.
So now that we're ready to pray with our feet and continue that march to freedom, we turn to words that we recite every Shabbat. They're words that give us the opportunity, remind us what Shabbat is about, that remind us not only of the obligation to keep Shabbat, but also a reminder of what Shabbat gives to us. So as we turn to the words of Vishamru, we don't actually, those of us who are sitting here, those of us who are joining on the live stream, don't need the reminder. This Shabbat, the idea of Shabbat is already built in. Yet we have this prayer that gives us an opportunity to express our gratitude for this covenant that we share and the gift that Shabbat brings to us each and every week. On page 44, we find the words of Vishamru.
Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'toratam berit olam. Vishamru b'nei Yisrael et HaShabbat la'asot et HaShabbat le'toratam berit olam. turn to the Amidah on page 46. Adonai sefatai tiftachu fi yagid tehilatecha. Adonai, open up my lips that my mouth may declare your praise. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avotinu v'Imotenu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, Vekonei Hakol, V'zocher Chasdei Avot v'Imahot, U'mivii Ula libnei bneihem, Le'ma'an Shemo be'ahava, Melech Ozer u'Moshia u'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah, Atah gibor le'olam Adonai, Mechayech kol atah le'Hoshia, Mashiv haruach u'morid ha'gashem, Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechayeh hakol berachamim rabim, Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekayem emunato lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umidam elach, Melech memit umechayev, Umatzmiach Yeshua, V'ne'eman atah lachayot hakol, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakol. Atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh, U'kedoshim b'chol yom yalelucha selah, Baruch atah Adonai, Ha'el hakadosh.
So we come to a prayer on page 59, although you don't need to turn to it quite yet, but that's where we're going. I like to give people a sense of where we're heading. We were talking about as everyone is coming in, it takes us a while to move as a people. It took us 40 years to make it through the desert, and it was actually, should have taken us about 10 days, but it took us 40 years. We're not going to take that long getting to this next prayer. However, along the way, there are some important things for us to do. It is a prayer called the Hoda'ah, which is a prayer of thanksgiving, a prayer of gratitude. Often when we come into this space, we come in with a sense of gratitude, perhaps for just the opportunity to be, to have some time to sit, to reflect, to be in community, to hear the voices around us, and to just rest and get a little bit of a taste of Shabbat. But sometimes we come with an extra piece of gratitude because there is something that has happened. It could be something big, like a birthday, an anniversary, or something special along those lines. It could be some type of big accomplishment. It could be something as simple as not burning the pancakes in the morning, or actually making sure that you got gas before that gaslight, that pesky gaslight came on, or as happened to me, I guess it's the theme this week. My gaslight was on. I didn't have time to stop for gas, but I also didn't have time to run out of gas. So we make choices, and sometimes we have blessings that find us. And one of the blessings is simply being in the space together. So we're going to take a moment now to share our smachot, our simchas, our blessings, our joys, the things that have brought us joy perhaps this week, perhaps joys that we're about to celebrate, the things that make our hearts full and give us a little sense of wholeness. So I'm going to invite you, for those seated in the chapel, to share a simcha. If you have one that you would like to share out loud, just raise your hand. If you are joining us on live stream, we invite you to share it aloud, but then also to let us know what your simcha is so we can celebrate with you as well. Sherry. wait. I know it's your grandson, Reese. 16th birthday.
She has
Oh, you have more. There are more grandchildren. I know that. And great-grandchildren. Wonderful. So, wow. So lots of nachas, lots of simchas for Sherry, for her family, and a baby that I once named who's coming to visit and is now how old? Coming up on a bar bat mitzvah? Whoa. There's a lot of simcha, a lot of gratitude there. We say, Modim anachnu lach. 100 on a chemistry test. Twice. Wait, not once, but twice. And I'm sure there was some work put in as well. So we say for studying, for learning, and for continuing to feel that sense of accomplishment, Modim anachnu lach. Whoa, for lots of accomplishment among our confirmation class, and we say Modim anachnu lach. For sharing the passage of life and another what is it? What's the another whatchamacallit around the sun, or another trip around the sun? I couldn't think of that. There are a couple different expressions, but for being able to share with good friends, with old friends, with new friends, we say Modim anachnu lach. A bat mitzvah and a birthday and a wonderful moment to share with family and with the congregation. We say, Modim anachnu lach.
So I've been getting random emails and texts all week from congregants who have driven by my house wondering what was going on. And I can gladly, after a year and a half, say that our house project has begun. The roof was taken off. The walls and trusses are on, all in 4 days.
4 projects
It's not over for 6
finally
months, but,
underway,
we're
even
there.
without the roof on top. We know that there's the protection and the potential and the possibility of what is yet to come. We say, Modim anachnu lach. I didn't get to this side at all. Wife and daughter arrived in New Zealand. They've been anticipating this trip, I know, for a while, and for adventures, for learning, for growth, for excitement, and for journeys. We say, Modim anachnu lach. For lots of celebration, again, not just the passage of years, but for being enabled to share in that joy as they continue to grow and blossom into the people we didn't even know and imagine they would become. We say, Modim anachnu lach. For creativity, for words of the heart that inspire and allow us to reflect and give thanks together, we say, Modim anachnu lach. So for the Lazarus Project, for big projects that are not just an award in receiving that award, but also as a sense of faith and confidence in what she's going to do. And we know, as we see with all of our confirmands, they're going to all do wonderful and great things. But in gratitude, we say, Modim anachnu lach. Again, adventures that are upcoming, going to Israel and Poland, and doing it with friends with whom you've grown up, and being able to journey to the land of our people and find yourself there as well. We say, Modim anachnu lach.
A lot of them were in my class 5 and 6 years ago, and that's just cool.
For being able to witness as your students grow into young adults and know that you had a little piece in, or maybe a big piece in their journey and in inspiring them and modeling for them, as you still do in the front row, how to love and find joy in Judaism. Modim anachnu lach. Thank you. An autograph from an author for meeting people who inspire you. Do you know the name? Okay, well, you're going to let us know next week who the author was, and just the idea of being in the presence of someone who was inspired to take that step, that can be inspiring for us as well. And so we say, Modim anachnu lach. Ricky announced your name in front of a lot of people. Awesome. Okay. For being recognized and seen and valued, we say, Modim anachnu lach. And we know that we could go around and hopefully we'll just take one or two more. Yep. For guests, for connections, for new friendships, and for knowing that when he goes back to Atlanta, we're still here. And we hope that that relationship and friendship will continue. For new friendships and relationships, for long-standing relationships, we say, Modim anachnu lach.
Oh, just that I just got back from a truly spectacular vacation with my sister. Got to, if anyone wants any travel tips on the Andes of Ecuador or the Galapagos, it was truly incredible. Also, the best chocolate you'll ever eat in your life.
And I will just add to that. While she was in the Galapagos, I was down in. Actually, it was cold down in Alabama last week, and it's the unseasonably cool weather. I guess it's following me, but now it's warm here. I don't. Either way, for inspiration and for travels that allow us to learn and grow and think about how we want to connect and interact with the world and with one another, we say, Modim anachnu lach. We turn to the bottom of page 58, and we join together, Baruch atah Adonai, hato shemha u'lecha na'eh lehodot. The gratitude continues as we turn to page 60. We are grateful, not just for Shabbat. We're grateful for a sense of peace that comes when we just take a deep breath in, as we're going to do together right now. We let it out. We've been doing that up until now. Whatever our age, however many trips around the sun, we continue to breathe in, to breathe out, to bring in not just the air and the breath, but to recognize the wholeness that is within each one of us. And so as we turn to the words of Shalom Rav, we are grateful, certainly for peace, but we are also grateful for wholeness in whatever form it comes. Shalom Rav.
Shalom Rav Yisrael Anka Tasim Leolam. Shalom Rav Yisrael Anka Tasim Leolam. Ki atahu melech Adon lecho hashalom. Ki atahu melech Adon lecho hashalom.
Amen. A Talmudic sage once taught that if one prays only according to the precise text of the prayers and adds nothing from our own heart, our prayers are not complete. That's true not only of our personal prayers, but our prayers as a community. So we take a moment to turn from the fixed liturgy, from the prayers that we find on the pages of our Siddur, of our prayer book, the keva, as we call it in tradition, the fixed liturgy, the words that are given to us. We take time now to add our own words, the words that we find in our hearts, our kavanah, the something that is not found in the prayer book in any form. And sometimes we ourselves might not even know the words. They lie so deep within our hearts. And so we take time now quietly, privately, silently, to add the words that are in our hearts. And if we are not exactly sure, it's okay, because God can help us put them together as we pray silently.
Better angels spread their wings as the human heart she sings and sings sweet melodies her music brings where love flows there to hope springs. That our better angels guide our hearts where love flows, our healing starts. Each of us must play our part. Let our better angels guide our hearts. Better angels guide our hearts. Let our better angels light our eyes. Let compassion flow and beauty rise. Awakening we realize. Let our better angels light our eyes. Better angels bless our hands. Tomorrow's dream today we'll plan. We'll set our sights on visions grand. Let our better angels bless our hands. Better angels bless our hands. Let our better angels bless this hour as we gather in our power. Love will blossom, bloom, and flower. Let our better angels bless this hour.
together, we're not alone. For the righteous light is on. Let our better angels bring us home. Better angels bring us home. Better angels bring us home. Better angels bring us home.
We take a moment now to think of those in our lives, those in our families, those in our community who are in need of healing. We will share those names as we join together in a song that Rabbi Micah Lapidus wrote. It's called El Na Refana La. We'll sing it a few times, and then in the middle of the song we'll stop and we'll look around the room and ask for your loved ones' names. We join together.
So this next song we're going to do for you all, it's called Swim, Swim, Swim. This is a song about persistence. The song says, if the waters don't part, you keep swimming. Swim, swim, swim. And it's a sing-along song, so once we go through it 1 or 2 times and you get the feel of it, feel free to join in and sing with us. Swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. Sing it with me. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. This is the first verse. If the sun don't shine well, the sky won't fall. Where the wicked rule, may we break their thrall. When the oceans rage, may we heed the call and swim, swim, swim. Yeah, if the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. They say the darkest hour brings the dawn. They say the righteous take refuge in a song. They say the path to the sea is steep and long. So swim, swim, swim. When the walls go up, we've gotta tear them down. If the crops don't grow, we've gotta water the ground. When the flood waters rise, if you don't wanna drown, you gotta swim, swim, swim. Come on, sing it. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Yeah, if the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. They say the darkest hour brings the dawn. They say the righteous take refuge in a song. They say the path to the sea is steep and long. So swim, swim, swim. Those who worship power do an idol make. There are those who give, there are those who take. In the desert sun, the bricks gonna break while we swim. Yeah, if the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. Letake no lambema hushada. Letake no lambema hushada. Behold the glory of God with our own 2 eyes while we swim, swim, swim. Come on, sing it. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Yeah, if the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Swim, swim, swim. Sing it one more time. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Yeah, if the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. If the waters don't part, we gotta swim, swim, swim. Swim, 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 swim. You all were great.
We're going to keep it rolling. I'm so happy to see that we're a multi-generational community. We're so much better when we're surrounded by different ages and stages of life. And so as an educator, I work at a Jewish day school in Atlanta called the Davis Academy. It's a very special place. But when I see children, I'm just so filled with hope and joy. And I know that the wisdom that comes from our children and the energy that comes from our children and the hope that comes from our children is something that inspires all of us. And so we're about to sing a song called On That Day. And it's an English translation, an English response, I guess you could say, to the last couple of lines of that Aleinu prayer by Yom Hahu Yihiyeh Adonai Echad. On that day, God will be one. And so this song is dedicated to the children. We know that you will live to see that day, and we will be standing there beside you, pushing you forward. And we know that probably when we get there, it's going to be because you have led us. And we're very excited that our visit here will include, for the first time for me and Melvin, an opportunity to interact and hang out with the religious school on Sunday. And no offense to y'all, but we're most excited for that. Microphone?
There will come a day we shall live as one. Oh, come a day together as one. There will come a day when we shall all be one. Oh, come a day, all shall be one. On that day, will you join me on that day? On that day, stand beside me on that day. 'Cause we will dance,
We will dance.
we will sing,
We will sing.
we will dance and we will sing. On that day, won't you join me on that day? On that day, stand beside me on that day. 'Cause we will laugh,
We will laugh.
yeah, we will smile.
We will smile.
We will know peace a little while. On that day, 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 may we live to see that day. May we live to see that day. May we work to see that day. May we dare to dream that day. May we live to see that day arise.
When we come to that day, we know that it will be because we stand side by side, because we walk together, and also because there are those who came before us, who did the same, who inspired us, who taught us, who modeled for us how to walk through this world, and that walking together and standing together provides strength and enables us to get to that destination. And we know that along this journey, we've had those who have stood with us, walked with us, danced with us, sung with us, smiled and laughed with us, and whose memories still bring smiles to our lips, and whose memories warm our hearts and our souls. And so we think on this Shabbat of the following members of our community whose yahrzeit falls at this time: Eva Aronson, Charlotte Ansell, Estelle Barish, Rachel Behrens, D. Herbert Beskind, Pauline Blumenfeld, Ferdinand Breslau, Martha Brill, Lucille Brown, Samuel Berthoff, Ida Cohen, Ruth Meltzer Cohen, Louis Cohen, Albert George Efrott, Jenny Einstein, Bert Evans, Isaac Feld, Edward Finkelhor, Jean Fogel, Corinne Foreman, Jess Foreman, Jack Roswald Frank, Beatty Mandel Freeman, Edward Nathan Freelander, Mildred Kupsa Goldberg, Ida Goldstein, Joseph Goldstein, S. Dewey Gottlieb, Shirley Grant, Dr. Roy Greenbaum, Dora Greenberg, Paula Selsky Greenwald, Moses Herman, Carrie Hertzberg, Helen Jacobs, Elizabeth Kahn, Herbert Kahn, Paul Katz, Mamie Kaufman, Daniel Kerwin, Jacob Nofer, Bruce Miles Kraft, David Lawrence, Ruben Lesselbaum, Elsie Levy, Stuart Levy, Sadie Livingston, Salomon Livingston, Rena Loeb, Miriam Sperling Lynn, Hubert Margolis, Edith Kirstine Mars, Fanny Michaelis, Virginia Michaelis, Rosalind Levine Miller, Harry Morris, Sidney Morris, Harry Meyerberg, Hattie Newmeyer, Charlotte Norinsky, Nathan Oblon, Ann Osinoff, Chaya Perez, Kenneth J. Polin, Edwin Rapkin, Mary Sherman Resch, Gilbert Rosenberg, Helen Katz Rosenberg, David Rubin, Andrew Rudney, Joseph Rudolph, William Sachs, Shirley Samus, Mose Safra, Daniel Schiller, Leonard Schloss, Fred Schwartzstein, Neil Siegel, Harry Simon, David S. Solovey, Gladys Sorentru, Erwin Stein Jr., Fanny Stern, Sidney Tickton, Ethan Allen Tershin, Solomon Tizer, Charles Lewis Walker, Sarah Walker, Earl Warfield, Sylvia Heckinger Weiss, Paul Wilner, William Whitty, Rosemary Wolf, Michael D. Schumann, Adele Dalsheimer, Suzanne Jenkelson Gerson. And we add to their names the names of those recently laid to rest: Nancy Swanson Mitchell, Robert Gare, Minnie Edelman, Robert Levitt, Nell Jacobs, Louis Fyerson, Stephen Neuwirth, Edward L. Weidenfeld, and Calvin K. Fritz. We add to their names the names of any whose names have been inadvertently left off the list, omitted. So if you have a name of someone for whom you're reciting Kaddish this evening, I invite you to share it aloud.
Francis Albert.
With all of these names in our hearts, calling others now to mind as well, we rise together as we turn to page 294, and we join together in Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yizgadash shemei rabbah, ve'amad divrach harusei ve'amlich malchusei, v'chayechon v'yomechon v'chayei d'chol beis Yisrael, v'agalau v'zman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei Shmei Rabba Mevarach Leolam U'Almei Almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yizba'ar v'yizramam v'yiznaseh. V'yisadar v'yisalev v'yisalal Shmei D'Kudusha B'richu. Le'elam min kol berchasa v'shirasa. Tush b'chasa v'nechemasa. Da'amiram b'yalma v'imru. Amen. Yehei Shlama Rabba min Shemaya. V'chaim aleinu v'al kol Yisrael v'imru. Amen. Oseh shalom bimromav, huya aseh shalom, aleinu v'al kol Yisrael, v'imru, amen. May the source of peace and peace to all who mourn and comfort to all who are bereaved as we say together, amen. Please be seated. We acknowledge that this prayer we just recited, the Kaddish, the Kaddish Yatom, the mourner's Kaddish, actually also known as the orphan's Kaddish, is not a prayer of death. It doesn't mention death. It praises God for life. And so we continue by praising God not only through our words and the words we've joined together, but also through that sense of hope in the future that Micah shared, that Rabbi Lapidus shared a few moments ago. And I invite Lori Wise, who is president of our Women of Washington Hebrew congregation, and in that capacity as a member of our board of directors, to present our Cami Lore Nathanson Kiddush Cup.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom.
Oh, that was great. Usually I have to make people repeat it. Thank you. I am Lori Wise, really privileged to be here tonight, and I'm so glad you could join us. I feel so fortunate to be in this space in this time when we're lifted up by this joyful music. So thank you to our guests and to all of you. It was a beautiful experience. I have a few announcements to make. Some wonderful opportunities besides tonight to engage with Washington Hebrew congregation and our community in these next few weeks. On February 12th, please join us at the Julia Bindeman Suburban Center as we learn from Action in Montgomery for a workshop on how to build relationships within and across faith communities. Some fun Shabbat evenings are coming up. On the 17th, we'll have a Repro Shabbat at Falls Road. On February 24th, will be a Refugee Shabbat. On March 3rd, be sure to join us for Shabbat Purim, Rock of Ages. I don't want to miss that.
You really don't.
I thought it was going to be.
It's gonna be awesome.
I know. Abba was a hard act to follow, but this is it. And of course, don't forget to order your Hamantash and pre-order them before February 14th. Please feel free to take a copy of this brochure that you received when you came in. Take it home with you, and you can use the QR code for more information or to visit our website. Now, I'm a woman of a certain generation who didn't know from QR codes, but my kids have schooled me, and if anybody's not sure how to do that, we'll talk at the ONEG, because we don't want you to miss any information. Every Shabbat, should I call up?
Yeah,
Amalia?
no, you're right. You're good.
Well, Amalia and I had the chance to chat before services. We both confessed being a little nervous, but there is strength in being together up here. Every Shabbat, we increase our joy by reciting Kiddush. This is a moment when we remember the miracle of the Exodus and celebrate our freedom. At Washington Hebrew congregation, we also use this moment in the service to remember Cammie Lauren Nathanson and the power each person has to make an impact in our community and to change the world for the better. As we celebrate the milestone of our bat mitzvah, Amalia Mandelbaum-Raz, we invite her to the bima along with all the children who are present. Get ready. Come on up. Come on down. That's what the game show hosts say. It's an honor to give you this Kiddush cup. And now, if you would lead us in the Kiddush, we want the congregation to remember the vision of these young people who give us strength, pride, and hope in a brighter future.
Amen.
This goes right here. Do you have your paper? Do you want me to get it for you?
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen.
Amen.
Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, creator of the fruit of the vine. Praise to you, Adonai, our God, sovereign of the universe, who, finding favor with us, sanctified us with mitzvot. In love and favor, you made the holy Shabbat our heritage as a reminder of the work of creation. As first among our sacred days, it recalls the exodus from Egypt. You chose us to set us apart from the peoples. In love and favor, you have given us your holy Shabbat as an inheritance. Praise to you, Adonai, who sanctifies Shabbat. Baruch atah Adonai, Mekadesh HaShabbat.
Amen. And we sing together.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei peri hagafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, asher kidshanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu, v'shabbat kodsho b'ahava u'b'ratzon inchilanu, זיכרון למעשה בראשית, כי הוא יום תחילה למקראי קודש, זכר ליציאת מצרים. כי בנו בחרת, ואותנו קידשת מכל העמים, בשבת קודשך באהבה וברצון הנחלתנו. ברוך אתה אדוני מקדש השבת. אמן.
L'chaim.
And so that when we leave at the end of our service, we can all head directly to our Oneg Shabbat. You can put everybody up here for a moment. We're all going to join in Hamotzi.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tzei avon.
So Ellie is going to take that back out, and it's going to get all cut up. But we have something special tonight. We have our children who are up here. Don't go anywhere yet. We're going to try to make room. So many of you know that we do a blessing over our children on Shabbat. And tonight we have our confirmands. Some of our confirmands are here this evening. And because as our children grow taller and I don't, I need a little bit of help holding the tallis over their heads. So our confirmands are going to help do that. And it's a double bonus, a double blessing tonight. Okay, so you guys are going to...
Everybody take a part of the tallis. And all of you, make sure you get underneath the tallis. Squeeze, squeeze, squeeze.
Oh, wait, hold on. Oh, no, it's not broken. It's just a weird shape. So you gotta stand.
There we go. All right, all of you come on underneath the tallis.
Okay.
Big huddle. Big love huddle.
It is an oddly shaped talit. I can tell you the history of that and why it's the shape later. That's something we'll learn together. We ask God's blessing upon not just those under the talit, but those holding it as well. And we say, Yivarechecha Adonai v'yishmerecha. May God bless you and watch over you.
Ya'er Adonai panav elecha v'yichonecha. May God's face shine upon you and be gracious to you, be kind to you.
Yisa Adonai panav elecha v'yasem lecha shalom. May God make God's face to shine upon you, and may God grant you the greatest blessing of all, of wholeness, of peace, of shalom.
Amen.
Amen.
Mazel
Shabbat
tov.
shalom.
Shabbat
Shabbat
shalom. All right, and we can hand Rabbi back her tallis. I think it's her son's, actually.
Mm-hmm.
And you all can make your way back to your seat as we join together for our concluding song, which
I'm going to
Rabbi
tell you
Michael's
briefly
gonna tell
about
us a
this
little
song.
about.
First of all, I'm hungry. Who else is hungry? Yes, we're hungry.
Time to not.
Having said that, we'd like to try to write a song that reflects and is for us a way of remembering our experience in a community. And so we wrote this song that we're about to share called Walking Humbly, really in honor of our being here as a gesture to this congregation. When you walk into, as you know better than I, Washington Hebrew congregation, at least this location, when you look to your left, you see the words from Micah 6:8. God has told you what is required of you, doing justice, loving kindness, and walking humbly with your God. I'm standing over here because the song is really brand new. It's never been shared before, and I didn't even have time to write down the chords. So I got to tell them to Daniel while we sing it. And then the last thing I'd say, Melvin we are here really not to perform, but to try to connect and keep in touch. The best way that we know how to do that in this crazy world is with a newsletter that we send out on a quarterly basis, and with this QR code, which will take you to all of our music. We are not trying to sell anything. We are just trying to connect, and this is our way of doing it. It's an honor to us if you would do that, so that way when we come back or when we're in another community, you can tell your friends and we can keep in touch. And if you're ever in Atlanta, we'd love to see you.
And before they sing this, we're hoping that we'll go back to Atlanta on additional trips, and we'll definitely connect when we're there. And I also want to just remind our confirmation class and families are having a Shabbat dinner in Freed Youth Wing, so at the other end. But we're going to make our way there. We're going to take a few minutes if you want to stop by the Oneg so we can connect with other congregants on our way. And so Melvin and Micah have a chance to connect with people before we all head down there, and they're going to be joining us at our Shabbat dinner down in Freed Youth Wing.
They have the word. We have the words. We don't have the words.
We don't have the words. We'll
We
feed
don't
you
have
the
the
words.
words.
We'll feed you the words.
We'll call them.
Good, we're hungry.
We're delaying dinner, but we'll feed you the words.
Stand up for the closing song.
Or not.
Humbly walking humbly, that's how we ought to be. Walking humbly, together we can see. The path ahead, the path behind, we'll take each footstep in each time. Walking humbly, you and me together. Walking humbly, walking humbly.
That's what we've got to do.
What we gotta do.
Walking humbly.
Walking humbly, walking humbly.
Together, me and you.
Together, me and you.
Step by step.
Step by step, we'll find our way.
Darkest night.
Darkest night to a brand new day. Walking humbly, you and me together. God has told us, God has told us what is good and what God requires. Doing justice, loving kindness, walking humbly, you and me. Walking humbly, you and me together. Walking humbly, walking.
We've got our walking shoes.
We've got our walking shoes. Walking humbly.
Together we can't lose.
Together we can't lose.
I've got your back, you're by my
Got your
side.
back, you're by my
We're keeping
side.
pace, we're making
keeping
strides.
pace, we're making strides. Walking humbly, you and me together. God has told us, God has told us what is good and what God requires. Doing justice, loving kindness, walking humbly, you and me. Walking humbly, you and me. Walking humbly, you and me together. Yeah, you and me together. You and me together. Thank you so much.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.
Thank you.